Hollywood has been rocked by a pledge unlike anything we'd seen in years. In just a matter of days, over 4,000 actors, directors, and film professionals added their names to a bold promise to boycott Israeli film institutions. This wasn't a quiet decision made behind closed doors. It was a loud, public declaration, one that instantly sent shockwaves across red carpets, production sets, and studio boardrooms. The pledge itself sounds simple, but the implications, anything but. By refusing to engage with Israeli film organizations, these celebrities are taking a very clear political stand, one that many believe blurs the line between art and activism. Reports claim the signatories include not only independent voices, but also established stars and respected filmmakers. While not every name has been revealed, rumors suggest several recognizable figures in Hollywood have thrown their support behind the movement. That's what makes this different. This isn't just a fringe petition or a symbolic gesture. It's thousands of industry players speaking with one voice, and the timing couldn't be more explosive. With film festivals around the corner and award season slowly building momentum, a pledge of this scale isn't just political noise. It threatens to spill directly into the entertainment calendar, disrupting premieres, international screenings, and cross-border collaborations. But here's the real twist. Not everyone in Hollywood sees this as an act of solidarity. Some call it bold, others call it dangerous. And when Paramount Pictures finally decided to break its silence, the studio's response made headlines worldwide. What made this boycott pledge truly impossible to ignore wasn't just the sheer number of signatures. It was the whispers about who was behind it. Reports suggest that along with independent filmmakers and rising talents, a number of household names have quietly aligned themselves with the movement. While the full list hasn't been confirmed, insiders claim that familiar faces from both Hollywood blockbusters and award-winning indie films have added their voices. That's where the story gets powerful, because when you see thousands of everyday professionals sign something, it makes a statement. But when a single A-list actor or a respected Oscar winner adds their name, it suddenly feels like the entire industry is tilting in a new direction. Fans on social media immediately began speculating. Threads on Reddit and X filled up with lists of potential signatories, screenshots of posts, and heated debates about which stars had the courage to speak up and which ones were staying S. Silence, in fact, became its own headline. In an industry where image is everything, not signing the pledge suddenly became just as controversial as signing it. And this is where the influence of celebrity power takes center stage. A single tweet, a short Instagram story, or even a vague statement from a star with millions of followers can push the conversation to the front page of global media. This wasn't just a pledge anymore. It had become a cultural flashpoint. But with that level of influence also comes responsibility and pressure. Because the louder the boycott became, the more Hollywood's biggest studios were forced to respond. And no studio spoke louder than Paramount. And when Paramount finally broke its silence, its message wasn't soft, cautious, or diplomatic. It was direct. It was fiery. And it sent Hollywood into even deeper turmoil. For days, Hollywood insiders wondered how the major studios would react. Most kept quiet, watching the storm build. But then, out of nowhere, Paramount Pictures broke its silence, and their words lit a fire across the industry. In a rare public statement, Paramount didn't try to sugarcoat or soften its stance. They flat out condemned the pledge, calling it a move that silences individuals based on nationality. In a business that thrives on international partnerships, those words were impossible to ignore. Paramount's choice of language was deliberate and pointed. By framing the boycott as discrimination, the studio wasn't just disagreeing with the actors. It was accusing them of crossing a line, of turning inclusion into exclusion. For a company with decades of global reach, the message was crystal clear. Politics should never dictate who gets to make or show art. The reaction was immediate. Some praised Paramount for standing up and drawing a line in the sand. Others blasted the studio, accusing it of protecting profits over principles. Social media erupted within hours, with hashtags calling out both sides of the argument. Supporters of the boycott accused Paramount of ignoring the human cost of its partnerships, while critics of the pledge rallied behind the studio's bold defense of artistic freedom. But here's the thing about Hollywood. When a major studio takes a stand, the ripple effects are massive. Every actor, director, and producer suddenly has to think twice about their own position. Would speaking out cost them roles? Would silence be seen as complicity? Paramount's response didn't just challenge the boycott. It forced the entire industry into a corner. And what came next made it clear. Hollywood wasn't just debating politics anymore. It was turning into a battle line with careers, reputations, and the future of global cinema. Paramount's fiery response didn't cool the controversy. It poured gasoline on it. Almost instantly, Hollywood found itself split down the middle. On one side were the actors and filmmakers who saw the pledge as an act of moral courage. They argued that silence was no longer an option, that refusing to engage with Israeli film institutions was the only way to send a message. For them, this wasn't just politics. It was about justice, visibility, and accountability. But the other side saw something very different. Critics argued the pledge wasn't about solidarity at all, but about shutting doors. They called it a form of exclusion that punished artists simply because of their nationality. And Paramount's bold statement gave these voices a powerful platform. The pledge wasn't just a press release or a trending hashtag. For Hollywood, it carried real consequences, ones that could shake the very foundation of the film industry. At the top of the list, film festivals. Many of the world's biggest festivals thrive on international collaboration, showcasing films from dozens of countries, including Israel. If hundreds or even thousands of actors refuse to participate, entire lineups could collapse. Imagine a red carpet missing its biggest stars, or premieres canceled because talent simply won't show. For festivals that depend on buzz, that's a nightmare scenario. Then there's the question of co-productions. Hollywood doesn't work in isolation anymore. Studios rely on international financing, partnerships, and distribution networks. If actors and filmmakers start boycotting projects tied to Israeli institutions, deals worth millions could fall apart overnight. That means delayed productions, broken contracts, and financial losses. No studio. To understand just how explosive this boycott has become, you have to look back. Because Hollywood has never truly been separate from politics. Time and time again, the industry has found itself caught in the middle of global conflicts, cultural movements, and moral debates. Think back to the Hollywood blacklist of the 1950s, when actors, writers, and directors were accused of having ties to communism. Careers were destroyed overnight, not because of box office numbers, but because of politics. Studios were pressured to pick a side, and silence was often treated as guilt. Sound familiar? And now, insiders are asking the question nobody wants to say out loud. Will this boycott become the next chapter of Hollywood's long list of divides? Or will it spiral into something even bigger than anything we've seen before? Because as history proves, what happens in Hollywood never stays in Hollywood.